And for more on US-related matters, we are now joined by Lesotho Foreign Affairs and International Relations Minister Lejone Mpotjoana. He joins us now via our video link. Minister, thank you so much for your time here on SABC News. Now, let's start off here. I mean, there are reports that the US administration has given media some information in terms of your presentation to the US government. And one of those proposals is that you will abandon buying wheat from South Africa and import it from the US. Maybe let's start off here. Is this true? And have you informed South Africa about this decision?
Thank you very much, Mbali, and good afternoon. Let me start by saying on the 2nd of April, the world woke up on the tariff proposal or imposition by the President of the United States. And as the government of Lesotho, we saw it necessary that we should engage the US government because we were given the 50% tariff on the basis that we are charging the US 99% tariff. And when you look into the numbers, we realize that as Lesotho, as the member of SACU, we always abide by the SACU common external tariffs of an average of 7.5%. And we have never applied a rate of 99% to any country, including the United States of America. And therefore, when you look into the numbers, we believe that the US maybe they used what you call the trade deficit between the government of Lesotho or the Kingdom of Lesotho and the United States of America, looking into trade in goods, especially the textiles. We are exporting around $240 million per annum, and trade in goods with the United States of America is averaged around 3.8 million per annum. And we believe that deficit, that trade deficit, was the one that was used to come up with the 99% that they call a tariff. It is not actually a tariff. We call it a trade deficit. However, even that trade deficit, it did not consider the trade in services. Because as Lesotho, we have got a lot of imported services. We are using the Microsoft, which is the platform that we are currently using now. Our people are also using the social media platforms. Those are all US companies. And when they came up with that trade deficit, we believe they did not consider the imported services. We engage with the US government through our own bilateral relations. And the engagement that we have had so far, we have written a letter to the US government after receiving the news that we will be given a 50% tariff. We wrote a letter requesting an audience with the executive of the US. Yeah. We also wrote a second letter that is requesting an audience through a telephonic call between the Prime Minister and the President of the United States. The third letter that we wrote to the US, it was regarding the tariffs themselves. We talked about the compound tariffs that we have submitted to the WTO, as well as the tariffs that we are applying through the SACU. We have heard this news about the offer or the proposal that we have made as the government of Lesotho. I have no idea of such, because the correspondence that we have is just that three that I've just talked about.
There are also reports,
Yes.
Minister, that you also have committed to signing an agreement with Elon Musk's Starlink to be installed in your country. But there has also been some strong opposition there from some people in Lesotho. How do you plan on dealing with some of the resistance from people of Lesotho, if indeed there is some sort of agreement with Starlink, as some of the reports are pointing to?
Thank you very much, my sister. Starlink, like any other company, they have applied for a license to operate in Lesotho, and their industry is being regulated by the Lesotho Communications Authority, LCA. And in my understanding, they are still undergoing the licensing processes, whereby there are regulations that have been applied, they have been tested to go through the regulations. And if there is opposition, the opposition might come from the competitors in the industry. And I believe that the LCA is a competent authority to ensure that they regulate that industry. So Starlink is not going to get into any agreement with the government. It is applying for the license to operate in Lesotho, like any other business.
Let's also now deal with some of the reports dealing with issues on the African continent, and that's in regards to, some of the reports saying that you will be deploying troops into the DRC. Is this true, perhaps? Maybe if you can just clarify that for us.
Like I'm saying, my sister, we have heard this news that there has been an offer about Lesotho on these listed items, including this one of deploying troops to the DRC. Lesotho is a member of the SADC, and the SADC decisions are made at the summit by the heads of state and governments. As Lesotho, we cannot go against our own decisions as the region, or we cannot go alone and deploy the troops in DRC. I don't think that will be ordinary for Lesotho as a member state of SADC. All decisions are arrived by the heads of states at the summit. So yes, indeed, I've seen that taken rounds. As Lesotho, we cannot offer something like that.
There are also other reports, when it comes to Lesotho saying that you will be accepting some country deportees who are not being accepted by their countries. But at the same time, people question that, this takes place at a time when Lesotho is facing a lot of challenges, with Basotho also living in South Africa. Can you clarify that for us? Will you be accepting any deportees into your country?
Like I said, my sister, we have requested an audience with the U.S. government, and any offers that the U.S. might have, we will get that on the table when we are discussing with them. Right now, there is no offer from Lesotho to accept any third nationals, because like you're saying, as Lesotho, we have got our own people that we have to take care of, and a lot of them for that matter. And some of them are there in South Africa seeking employment. And as the government of Lesotho, we are working so hard to ensure that we create enough employment to take care of Basotho. So if there is any offer, maybe from the U.S. government, we will get that when we arrive on the negotiation table.
And Minister, before I let you go, talking still about the issues around tariffs, we do know that there is a 90-day pause at the moment. And what measures do you have in place as Lesotho, when this 90-day tariffs is introduced after this 3-month period?
No, thank you very much, my sister. We received the news on the 2nd that within 5 days there will be an application of 10%, and for Lesotho there was an extra 40%, making it a total of 50% tariff from the US. And for us it was shocking because the trade or international trade should be negotiated between countries, and we should sit on the table and agree on what tariffs can we apply between our countries. Well, we received the news that it has been paused for the next 90 days, which allows us now to go to the US or to engage with the US to look into the textile industry specifically. We have got an industry here that is exporting around 40% of the produce from Lesotho here to the US, and there might be around 12,000 jobs that has been created by that industry, specifically exporting to the US. And indeed, we are saying we should negotiate with the US not to apply the 40% on Lesotho, making it a total of 50%, because for us it's quite too high, and it will make our produce from Lesotho here quite uncompetitive. So we are also looking at alternative markets. Some of the products from the textile industry, they are being sold here in South Africa, and some of them
Unfortunately, we are losing the connection to the minister there. That is the Lesotho Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Relations, Lejone Mpotjoana. They're just talking to us about some of the revelations coming out from Lesotho, also reacting to the tariffs from the US and how it will also affect the Lesotho textile industry.